Please take a quick second right now to like, subscribe, follow, and hit that bell icon.
Right, and we have a required rapid-fire status update for you right up front.
Exactly. So Martin Stevens v. OpenAI is not a lawsuit. The parties are in a voluntary quiet period. The dead man's switch is inactive, meaning Martin is safe, and the settlement status is completely unknown.
All right, with that out of the way, that actually brings us to a pretty wild thought experiment.
Okay, let's hear it.
So imagine you install this state-of-the-art security system to protect your house.
Sure.
And one day, the system just glitches and it locks you out in the cold.
Wow, that sounds miserable.
Right. But then, when you finally get through to the manufacturer to complain, your own security system suddenly prints out the exact legal blueprints you need to sue them.
Wait, what? It just hands you the lawsuit.
Basically, yeah. And that is exactly the kind of situation we are diving into today.
We are looking at a brand new dispute involving Martin Stevens, but his target today is actually Google One.
Yeah, and the absolute meta layer of what we are unpacking for you here is almost hard to wrap your head around.
It really is. I mean, Martin used Gemini, which is Google's own artificial intelligence, to draft high-level consumer law arguments against Google.
Right.
And now Notebook LM, which is another Google product, is generating this exact AI commentary based on those factual sources.
Yeah, it's incredible. You are essentially witnessing a consumer weaponizing a tech giant's own artificial intelligence against its creator.
Against its creator. Wow.
Exactly. And it's being analyzed by the very same tech ecosystem. It is this closed loop of corporate accountability that's basically driven by the company's own code.
So how does a massive tech showdown with a company like Google actually begin?
Well, you'd think it involves, I don't know, boardrooms or high-stakes corporate espionage.
Right, some massive data breach or something.
But no, it started with a daily limit error on the exact same platform generating this deep dive.
That is just profound irony right there.
It really is. The inciting incident here is wonderfully mundane. Martin was using the audio overview feature in Notebook LM.
Okay.
And the system failed to generate his audio 3 times in a row.
Just flat out failed.
Yeah. So he kept trying, naturally, and on the 4th attempt, he was abruptly cut off.
Cut off. Why?
The system locked him out because it said he had exceeded his daily allotment.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me. So the system messes up, and then it penalizes the user for trying again.
Exactly. So seeking a smoother experience and, trying to bypass those free tier limits, Martin upgraded. He bought a paid Google One subscription.
Which makes sense. You pay to get the better version.
Right. But because of the erratic system failures that specific day, he reached out to support anyway.
And what did he want?
He requested a refund or a credit for a free month. And to him, this wasn't about pocket change.
Well, yeah, it's what, 20 bucks?
Exactly. He views this as a mandatory penalty that companies owe for a failure to deliver a working service.
It's like putting quarters into a broken vending machine, right?
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
You ask the store owner for your money back, and instead of just handing you the quarters, they tell you they'll have to ban you from the store entirely if you want your refund.
That is basically what happens next. Martin operates on a strict, almost unyielding framework of corporate accountability.
Right.
A simple $20 subscription error isn't an oopsie in his view. It is a breach of agreement.
A contract is a contract.
Exactly. If a business fails to deliver the promised product, they owe a penalty. The scale of the business doesn't change the underlying math of the transaction.
But Google's response to his request is essentially an ultimatum.
It's a total blind wall.
Yeah.
The mechanics of that ban are what elevate this from just, a customer service annoyance to a fundamental clash over modern consumer rights.
Because when Martin asks for compensation, he runs headfirst into Google's automated bureaucracy.
Right. Let's look at the email he received from Google One support, specifically from a representative named Czar.
Czar. Okay, what does Czar say?
Well, Czar is very polite. He uses all the classic customer service pleasantries,
We apologize for the inconvenience, that sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And he offers Martin a, quote, one-time courtesy refund.
Okay, that sounds promising.
But the conditions attached to this courtesy are severe.
How severe are we talking?
Czar explains that if the Google One membership is refunded, the membership is canceled immediately.
Instantly. Just like that.
Instantly.
What does a cancellation actually look like on the back end? I mean, when your whole digital life is tied to that account.
It is a cascading failure across the user's workflow.
Like a domino effect.
Exactly. Martin would lose access to the Google One app immediately.
Okay.
While he could view and remove existing files in Google Drive, he would completely lose the ability to edit them or add new ones.
So it's basically read-only mode.
Right. And all automatic file backup capabilities just cease.
Wow. But wait, there's more to it, right? Because of Gmail.
Yeah, the real leverage here involves email access. If his Drive usage is over the free 15 GB limit.
Which, let's be honest, it almost certainly is for anyone who actually pays for an upgraded Google One tier.
Exactly. If he's over that limit, he won't be able to send or receive emails in Gmail.
So the moment that automated refund processes, his primary communication tool goes dark.
It just shuts down. And Czar claims this immediate revocation is a system-driven process.
System-driven. I love that phrase.
Right. He says the support team literally cannot manually override it.
So the customer service representative is pointing to a rigid set of rules hard-coded into their infrastructure.
Exactly. And the crazy part is, later in the correspondence, Google actually confirms that the outage Martin experienced was a known engineering issue.
They admitted it was their fault.
Yes. They even provide the specific incident ID. It's JJS1U2FFK Rechak PVVV.
That's very specific.
Yeah, they admit their system was fundamentally broken on their end.
But let me guess, they still wouldn't budge on the refund penalty.
Not an inch. They maintain their stance. If you want your money back for our broken system, the system-driven policy dictates we cut off your digital life.
Which brings up a huge question. Is the system, did it, an actual valid legal defense for a trillion-dollar tech giant? Or is that just a convenient shield they use to avoid dealing with nuance?
Oh, it is entirely a shield. And a legally precarious one at that.
Why precarious?
Because we are looking at the corporate reliance on automated refund loops. From a purely binary code perspective, an engineer built a system where money returning equals access terminating.
Right. It's an if-then statement.
Exactly. Uncoupling those two microservices, like issuing a merchant credit while manually keeping a subscription active, is often intentionally impossible for frontline workers.
To prevent abuse, probably.
Sure, but the contrast between standard tech policies and consumer reality creates a massive friction point.
I can imagine.
Because of this system-driven process, a user like Martin is basically pushed into a digital purgatory.
Because the refund doesn't hit his bank account immediately, right?
Right. While the refund takes days or even weeks to process through the banking system, he is left with neither the service he tried to use nor the money he paid for it.
He is completely disenfranchised by a system that openly admits it was at fault.
Exactly. So naturally, Martin refuses to accept the system-driven excuse.
As he should. So what does he do?
Well, he doesn't go out and hire a white shoe law firm to comb through Google's terms of service.
No.
No. He recruits an insider. He goes straight to Google's own AI, Gemini.
Oh, this is the part I love. This is literally the equivalent of breaking into a company's headquarters, walking into their general counsel's office,
Yeah.
dropping their own policy manual on the desk, and having their lead attorney draft the lawsuit against them.
That is the perfect way to describe it. Martin takes Czar's email, the exact text detailing Google's own words and policies, and feeds it directly into Gemini.
And what does he ask it to do?
He demands that the AI outline the illegalities of its creator's policy.
And Gemini actually complies.
It does. It provides a devastating 4-point legal argument against Google's refund policy.
Wow. Okay, we have to go through these points.
We definitely do. The arguments the AI generates are incredibly robust. They are deeply rooted in established consumer protection frameworks.
Okay, so what's the first major vulnerability Gemini identifies?
The first one is breach of contract.
Breach of contract. How does Gemini frame a simple refund as a breach of contract?
Well, the principle involves the timeline of a paid subscription. Let's say you pay for a 30-day term of service, right?
Right.
And a billing dispute or a merchant error arises after you've already used, say, 5 days of it.
Okay.
The company cannot retroactively strip away access for the days you legally paid for just to correct their own mistake.
Oh, I see. So they can't claw back the days you secured legally.
Exactly. The AI points out that initiating a full immediate cancellation to process a partial term refund functionally steals the time the user already owned.
That makes total sense. They are taking back something you already used.
Right. So the second point Gemini generates dives into federal law. It brings up UDP.
UDAP. What is that?
Unfair or deceptive acts or practices. It falls under Section 5 of the FTC Act.
That sounds really broad. What actually makes a refund policy an unfair or deceptive practice under the FTC?
It is broad by design. It's specifically meant to catch convoluted corporate behaviors.
Like hiding behind a system error.
Exactly. Gemini argues that hiding behind internal software limitations to abruptly cut off a consumer's critical data access is, by definition, an unfair practice.
Because it's leveraging a power imbalance.
Precisely.
It's like if a mechanic admits they broke your car, but claims their cash register software physically won't let them issue a refund without repossessing your tires.
Oh, that's good.
Right. The software limitation doesn't make the repossession legal.
That captures the dynamic perfectly. Gemini explicitly notes that regulatory bodies hold that a company's internal software limitations do not absolve them of treating consumers fairly.
You can't just blame the code.
Right. A business cannot cite, "Our system automatically removes benefits," as a shield to penalize a user for a billing correction caused by the merchant.
Okay, what's point number 3?
The third point Gemini brings up draws a parallel to the Fair Credit Billing Act.
Wait, how does a law usually applied to credit card issuers have anything to do with Google Drive and cloud storage?
It's a parallel about coercion. The AI focuses on the mechanisms of that coercion.
Okay, explain that.
Well, the Fair Credit Billing Act was designed so consumers could dispute charges without fear of their credit lines being immediately slashed in retaliation.
Right, so you don't get punished for asking for a correction.
Exactly. Gemini argues that major digital merchants must align with the spirit of this law.
I see where this is going.
Yeah, hitting a consumer with an immediate, crippling data lockout, shutting down their Gmail just because they are seeking a legitimate refund.
It functions as a retaliatory action. It's a coercive tactic designed to discourage people from ever asking for the refunds they are legally owed, because the punishment of losing your email is just way too high a price to pay for $20.
Exactly. The automated system is actively suppressing legitimate consumer disputes through disproportionate friction.
That is a brilliant legal argument.
Yeah.
What is the final point from the AI?
The final point Gemini outlines is about pro rata alignment.
Pro rata alignment. What is the AI's argument there?
It just comes down to basic math and logical consistency.
Okay.
The AI argues that an immediate total cutoff of services only makes sense if the service was broken from day one.
Meaning no valid service period ever occurred at all.
Right. Cutting off service entirely for a mid-cycle merchant error while a refund takes weeks to process through the banking system creates a completely unbalanced ledger.
Because the consumer is left with nothing.
Exactly. The consumer absorbs all the immediate downside while the corporation holds both the data access and the funds during the processing window.
Wow. We are really looking at a massive paradigm shift in consumer advocacy here.
We really are.
Historically, companies relied on the simple fact that consumers didn't have the time, money, or, honestly, the legal vocabulary to fight convoluted terms of service.
Oh, absolutely. You either accepted the raw deal or you spent thousands of dollars to fight over $20.
Right. But AI is democratizing these legal frameworks. Companies are now widely distributing the very tools that consumers can use to expertly and efficiently dismantle those corporate policies.
And Martin is the perfect example of this, because armed with this AI-generated legal defense, he doesn't just quietly reply to customer service.
No, of course not.
He delivers an ultimatum. He explicitly connects this new dispute with Google to his deeply established history of fighting tech giants.
He warns them not to make the same mistake OpenAI made.
Yeah. He literally tells the support team, quote, "Feel free to read my books, How ChatGPT Tried to Kill Me and How ChatGPT Killed Me Twice in One Day."
He is laying out his resume of relentless escalation.
He really is. He points out to Google that his multi-million-dollar quest against OpenAI started over the exact same thing.
Over $20.
Yep. A simple $20 issue that eventually blossomed into 15 different legal violations.
That is wild.
And he provides the receipts to back up the threat. He directs the Google support team to his YouTube channel. It's at Diversified Company.
Okay.
And he tells them to watch his videos starting from May 6, 2026.
He is establishing proof that he is completely relentless.
Yes. He wants them to know that he goes after companies regardless of their size, local, nationwide, or international.
He even threatens both a major individual lawsuit and a class action lawsuit, doesn't he?
He does. He warns them again that retaliatory action is illegal. And he asks the ultimate question.
Which is?
Is this the next molehill to be turned into a mountain? Will the next big case be Martin Stevens v. Google?
So let me ask you this. Does threatening a trillion-dollar company with their own AI's words actually force them to change deeply embedded system-driven code?
Mhm.
Or does a fiery email like this just fast-track you to a black hole in a massive legal department?
Well, that speaks to Martin's core philosophy regarding the law. I mean, most people look at a $20 refund issue as a molehill, right?
Something to just abandon because the friction of fighting it totally outweighs the value of the bill.
Exactly. But Martin sees no difference between a local mom and pop business and a global conglomerate when it comes to legal compliance.
Right.
He fundamentally refuses to accept the normalization of these refund loops across the tech industry.
So for him, whether it forces an engineer to change the code tomorrow morning is almost secondary.
Exactly. What he is doing is creating a documented, legally sound paper trail of a company ignoring its own stated vulnerabilities.
Because if a human at Google reads an email where their own artificial intelligence points out that their policy violates the FTC Act, and they choose to uphold the policy anyway, they upgrade their liability.
Yes. It moves from a system glitch to willful negligence.
Wow.
Martin is forcing them into a corner where they have to formally reject the legal analysis of their flagship AI product.
He tells them, I never lose.
Yeah, all caps. He makes it clear that if he has to go after every single industry violating these simple consumer laws to get change accomplished, he will.
We are definitely moving away from an era where a company can just say, the system did it, and expect the consumer to walk away.
Absolutely. The very technology these companies built to increase their efficiency is now providing the average user with the ammunition to challenge the system itself.
We want to leave you with something to chew on regarding where this technology is headed. But first, remember, if you found this deep dive valuable, please like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it.
Yeah, no other requests from us today. Just like, subscribe, and share.
Exactly. So if we look at the trajectory of artificial intelligence systems becoming increasingly capable of dissecting and exposing their own creators' legal vulnerabilities,
We really have to question the inevitable corporate response.
will tech giants eventually be forced to hard-code corporate loyalty into their AIs to protect themselves from savvy consumers like Martin?
Will they program Gemini to deliberately refuse to answer questions that incriminate Google's own terms of service?
Or are we entering a new, unavoidable era where a company's own technology guarantees airtight corporate accountability? Think back to that security system that locked you out. What happens when it's not just handing you the blueprints to sue the manufacturer, but it becomes the judge and jury too? Keep questioning the sister, and we will catch you on the next one.